Why, hello there, Vicky. Have you given any consideration to my offer of moving in with you at all? I might be in good health now. But it's been 3 years since my husband passed away. And I think it's time you started giving my future some serious thought.
Good evening, Tina. Regarding your offer of moving in with us, to be honest with you, we have enough on our plate right now without having an extra person living with us. I just don't think it's feasible for us. At least for the time being. I know you're my mother-in-law, and I'd love to help you out, but I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
James told me you quit your part-time job recently. If you're going to live with us, we did make it pretty clear you'd at least have to be working part-time. You remember we discussed this before, right?
Why should I have to work to be allowed to live with my son and his wife? And really, this is rich. You don't have a job and are living entirely on James' dime yourself. So surely you're not in a position to be telling me to look for a job.
Huh? What? I can assure you, I most definitely do have a job.
Fine. So you have some crummy little part-time job at a convenience store. Wow. Amazing. Do you want a medal?
Where are you getting your info from? I work full-time and not at a convenience store.
Anyway, the only reason I quit my job in the first place was so I could live with you two.
Huh? What?
Keeping my job would have been difficult after I moved in with you. The commute from your house would have taken me a whole hour on the train, which left me with no choice but to quit.
Couldn't you have them transfer you to another branch or something? I'm sure quitting wasn't the only option.
Stop answering me back and let me move in with you. We already decided on this, you insolent little upstart. I get that having 3 of us cooped up in your little apartment would probably be difficult, which is why you need to move into a fully detached house immediately. Either that, or find a bigger apartment. The bottom line is, it's time for you and my son to move somewhere bigger to accommodate me.
What the hell? Quit making our decisions for us. You have no right to do this.
In terms of space, at the very least, we'll be needing a big, roomy living area. A nice, spacious kitchen. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I'll need my own private one. And a garden for me to relax in.
Whoa! Slow down. We never even agreed to have you live with us in the first place. You do know that, right?
I will not be answered back to, Missy. I suggest you get house hunting this instant if you know what's good for you. Don't worry, I'll be thoroughly hashing this out with my son. He's a good boy, so he's sure to have my side. Excellent, that settles it. Start packing your things together in preparation for the move, dear.
You don't get to decide this. Tina, was it you? Did you forge my letter of resignation and send it to my boss?
Ah, I see it already arrived.
You have got to be freaking kidding me. God damn it, I knew it was you. What do you think you're playing at? Why the hell would you do such a thing?
Simple. Now you have no choice but to live with me.
Don't be ridiculous. That resignation letter was obviously never going to be considered valid.
Excuse me? Why not?
Wow, you're actually surprised? Did you actually think my company was going to take a resignation letter that obviously wasn't written by me? Seriously? Besides, do you have any idea what would happen to us if I quit my job?
Nothing worth worrying about, I'm sure. You could just find another job after the move. It might be difficult to find something full-time, but I'm sure there are any number of part-time jobs where they'd welcome you with open arms.
You make it sound like such a walk in the park. Do you really think we have enough savings to support ourselves through something like that? Our financial situation isn't as peachy as you seem to think it is.
Huh?
I've already said this to James countless times, but you seem to have zero concept of the financial difficulties people are facing these days. and you clearly have no interest in finding work yourself. I want you to start thinking more seriously about the future and find a job of your own. If you're serious about wanting to move in with us, then that needs to happen first.
Vicky, oh my goodness. Are you really that wasteful with your spending?
What?
You should be able to get by comfortably just on James' salary alone. The fact that you're still struggling even though you work a full-time job yourself, on top of James' sizable pay packet, can only mean one thing. You're blowing all the money on frivolous crap.
Wait, what? What makes you think we could get by on James's salary alone? Do you actually know how much he makes?
Of course I do. He told me himself.
And you think the three of us could get by on that with me quitting my job and you not working at all? Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious. But it would appear that you'd have to rein in your excessive spending habit first.
Excessive? I'm the least excessive spender there is. If anything, I've done nothing but restrict my spending for as long as I can remember.
It's hard to believe you'd need to restrict your spending considering how much money my son makes. That alone tells me all I need to know.
Tina, listen to me. I don't feel like we're on the same page here. Do you really know how much money James makes?
Yes, like I just said, he told me himself.
Are you sure your financial sense isn't a bit off?
I should be asking you that.
I think my financial sense is just as solid as it gets, actually. I spend a lot of time budgeting and thinking about this stuff, you know.
Good grief, young lady. You're impossible. You're so devoid of anything resembling common sense. I may as well be talking to a plant pot. I'll be discussing this with James in person.
Now that you mention it. He's been at your house a lot recently, hasn't he?
Why, yes, he has. I've been letting him stay here.
He hasn't been replying to my messages at all. Do you have any idea why that might be?
Because I'm not letting him, obviously. Think about it. You've done nothing but pile doubt and negativity in our discussions about me moving in with the two of you. So I decided it was best not to let you keep sticking your nose in as we move things forward.
Jeez, Tina, are you kidding me? How many times do I have to tell you? Stop making decisions that aren't yours to make. James is my husband, and we need to discuss these kinds of things as a couple.
If I was to respect your opinion, we'd never get anywhere. I'll be in touch again when me and James have ironed out the finer details of the moving in arrangement.
Oh, no, you won't.
And mark my words, Missy, when I finally move in with you, I'll be giving you an arduous course of strict wife training to instill in you the womanly discipline you sorely lack in. Prepare yourself, because the gravy train's about to reach its final stop.
Hey, sis, it's been a while. It's now a good time.
Oh, hey, Gavin. You're right, it's been ages. What's up?
Well, as you know, I've been on work transfer in New York for a while now, but I thought I'd head back to town for a little surprise homecoming to see you again since it's been so long. Anyway, I tried getting into my house while I was in town.
Oh, you did?
Vicky, this might sound like a weird question. Did someone steal my house?
Excuse me? What kind of question is that?
I stopped by the house so I could check on and do some routine maintenance, you know, stuff like clearing the weeds from the garden, cleaning the inside, and checking if any repairs needed doing, but when I got there, it kind of looked like someone else was living there.
What? We have to call the cops.
Right? That was my first thought too, but when I asked around some of the folk in town, they told me that the woman living there knocked on all the doors last week and introduced herself as the new neighbor. Apparently she's called Tina, and she claims to be the mother of a certain James. James is your husband, right?
What the?
I did think it was a little crazy. But I thought I should let you know what was going on before I called the cops, since you have one of the keys to the house. You have any idea what's going on here?
God damn it. Give me a minute, okay? I need to check something. I'm sorry, Gavin. I let my guard down.
What happened?
The house key I left in the safe. It's gone. Me and James are the only people who know the code to that safe. So the only explanation I can think of is that he took it and let himself and his mom in.
But why would he do something like that without telling you?
Listen, you don't know about any of this, But his mom has been obsessed with the idea of moving in with us lately. She's like a woman possessed. When I told her she had to get a job so she could contribute to the household finances if she wanted to live with us, she quit the part-time job she'd had for years and insisted that when she moved in, there'd be no need for her to work anymore.
What? But you're working full-time yourself now, right? It's been a while, but I remember when we last spoke, you guys were living from paycheck to paycheck and struggling to keep on top of the utilities and grocery bills. And your unemployed mother-in-law thinks she can just waltz into that situation, start living with you, without contributing anything.
I did try and explain that to her, but we constantly had our wires crossed because she didn't seem to understand the fundamental logic behind what I was saying. And James, despite being the only person who had the ability to put all this nonsense to bed in a heartbeat, has been staying exclusively at his mom's place and not responding to any of my messages lately. So here I am, stuck banging my head against a brick wall, trying to get through to his stubborn mother while not making a single inch of process in the whole thing.
I see. So, basically, your mom-in-law, for some inexplicable reason, became obsessed with the idea of living in my house. I completely ignored everything you said to her about why that wasn't going to be possible, and then used covert measures to catch you off guard and move in without your permission. Pretty convenient for her that I, the actual owner of the house, have been out of town for 3 years on a company transfer from the other side of the country, huh? Your husband does know it's mine, right? Which means I can only conclude they intentionally use my absence to their advantage.
Yep, bingo. I'm pretty sure everything you just said hit the nail on the head. Or at the very least, James does know the house belongs to you. Whether he told his mom that or not remains to be seen. But the bottom line is, it does sound like they're both living there now. I'm so sorry, Gavin. I let you down. I had no idea my unhinged mother-in-law would set her sights on your house like this.
It's not your fault, Vic. Don't sweat it. But what do you think I should do about it?
Where are you right now?
At my buddy's place. He's happy to let me stay here until we get whatever this crap is resolved. But don't worry about me.
Got it. I'll try messaging Tina again. Depending on how she responds, we may be forced to take extreme measures. Tina, I heard you already moved house. Where did you end up going exactly?
Oh, Vicky. Good timing. I was just about to message you.
Is it fair to assume James is living with you at your new place?
Yes. You're far too lacking in common sense, and we're being far too stubborn for there to be any use in talking to you. So I decided to teach you a little lesson before we all moved in together.
Oh, that's funny. I don't seem to remember anything that would warrant me needing to be taught any lessons.
Gah. Here we go again. Quit playing dumb. If you insist on persisting with this selfish insolence, me and my son will be forced to consider divorce. I suggest you tread very carefully if you value your marriage to James, young lady.
I don't remember doing anything that would warrant being divorced.
Stop answering me back. Gah. You think you're so clever, don't you? If not for my son, you wouldn't even have a roof over your head, food on the table, or clothes on your back. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, Missy, or it'll be the last thing you ever do.
Ah, I see. So you think he's the one providing for me?
Why, yes, of course. If you won't show your husband and his $7,000 per month salary the respect he deserves, he doesn't need you in his life.
Wait, what? $7,000 a month?
If you don't like the thought of him washing his hands of you, then I suggest you apologize to me and let me live with you. Of course, I'll let you tell you where the new house is after that. If you get on your knees, apologize, and let me live with you, I'll tell you where our new house is. Oh man, you're even more detached from reality than I thought.
Wait, did you just tell me to get down on my knees and apologize over text message? What do you want, a picture?
Yep, a picture will do just fine. I'll even give you the time to clean the floor beforehand so you don't get dirty. Aren't I kind?
That one's gonna have to be a no.
What? You dare to defy me? But why?
Because I have no reason to do that.
Vicky, you really are the most stubborn person I've ever met. Do you want my son to divorce you? I mean it. He'll do it.
Yes, actually, I do. I've had enough of this crap.
What?
Sure thing. Divorce with my $700 a month salary husband is A-okay with me.
Excuse me? $700?
Yes, that's how much James brings home every month. $700. He does only work part-time at a convenience store after all.
Wait a second. What in God's name are you talking about? James's salary is $7,000 a month.
Where did you hear that?
James told me himself. When I asked him how much he makes, he made a 7 with his fingers.
So basically, he never actually verbalized this $7,000 figure you seem to be obsessed with.
Huh?
For some reason, it never occurred to you that him showing you a 7 could mean $700, did it? Incredibly, you immediately managed to convince yourself he was talking thousands without even getting confirmation. James makes $700 a month, and that's the cold, hard truth of the matter. To think you kicked up such a fuss over such a ridiculous misunderstanding. You know what? If James is the kind of guy who will let his mother get away with acting like this, then he's not the kind of person I need in my life. He can disappear and we can never see each other again for all I care.
Fine. Have it your way. I don't need a daughter-in-law like you pathological liar.
Great. Divorce it is. Let's do this.
Fantastic. I couldn't be happier. Now, without you getting in our way, my dream can finally become a reality. This means me and James get to live in the fully detached 3-bedroom house with a 1-acre back garden and swimming pool he bought without any of your unwanted meddling.
Unfortunately for you, it doesn't mean that at all. You'll be returning that house to its rightful owner.
Huh? Return it? To its rightful owner? Vicky, what in heaven's name is going on here? Explain yourself. Your brother just showed up and told me to get out of our new house.
Ah, he finally arrived then.
So you do know about this then? What's going on?
What's going on? Is you and James are living in my brother's house without permission.
Excuse me?
My brother Gavin always dreamed of owning his own home from a young age. He was so committed that he worked super hard to save up the money with a bunch of part-time jobs, starting when he was 16 in high school. 10 years later, he finally realized his dream of buying a house as a single 26-year-old guy. Pretty impressive, right? Anyway, to cut a long story short, that's the house you and James are currently living in illegally.
What? What are you talking about?
However, in a stroke of unfortunate timing, Gavin's workplace put him on a 3-year work transfer to a company HQ in New York a week after he bought it. So he never actually got the chance to move in. He left me with a spare key so I could check in on the place every now and then while he was away. But it would appear James took it from the safe behind my back.
What the?
I have no idea what James told you. But the real owner of that house is my brother. When he came back home to carry out his routine maintenance of clearing the weeds out in the garden, cleaning the place up, and checking for repairs, he realized someone was living there. Obviously, he was going to tell you to get the hell out, given you're a complete stranger to him and are living in his house illegally.
Oh my God. What the hell am I supposed to do now?
How about you just get the hell out like my brother told you to? There's no way you can worm your way out of this one, and we'll be forced to take extreme measures if you do anything stupid like try to hole yourself up in there. So it's obvious your only solution is to get out and find somewhere else to stay.
No, wait. You have to tell your brother. You have to tell him to give this house to me and James.
What?
You're my husband's wife, which makes me your mother-in-law, which means you have a sworn duty to do exactly as I tell you at all times, with no questions asked.
Hey Tina, the Stone Age called. It wants its worldview back. Anyway, none of what you're saying makes any sense. Me and James aren't even married anymore.
What?
I just got done handing them in. The divorce papers, that is.
You did what? But James didn't even sign them.
Oh, how little you know. Actually, he signed them ages ago.
What are you talking about?
He quit his company half a year ago without saying a word to me about it.
Huh? This is the first I've heard of it.
I was annoyed with him, but at the same time, I knew he could hardly just walk in and get his job back. So I had no choice but to find full-time work myself to keep us afloat with the bills in the meantime. There was no way I was going to let him sit around on the sofa eating potato chips all day. So I told him to find a part-time work while looking for something with more hours. But a whole month later, and he still hadn't shown any sign of seriously looking for full-time work. He did get a part-time job at a convenience store, and he did occasionally find day labor jobs here and there. But other than that, he spent all his time at home playing his stupid mobile games and eating junk food. I knew we couldn't go on like that. So I told him if he hadn't found another full-time job within the next 5 months, we were getting a divorce. I made him sign a set of divorce papers in case the day came when I had to hand them in. His time ran out, so I divorced him. Pretty simple, really. Do you understand now?
Oh my god. Does that mean the $700 a month you were talking about? Does that mean that's his actual salary?
Why not ask him yourself? And try getting him to say the answer this time. Me and James are strangers now, so it's not my place to be discussing his finances with you.
Oh,
And one more thing. My brother called the cops on you.
the cops!
Obviously, you're living in a complete stranger's house without permission. Do I really have to tell you that's against the law? Hurry up and get out of my brother's house, you deranged weirdo. I have nothing more to say to you.
Vicky, no! Please! I'm begging you!
Goodbye.
Hey, sis. How are things going on your end?
Great. My new apartment is ready to be moved into. Now all I gotta do is pack my things.
I see. Nice.
What are you gonna do about your house? It's kind of sad such a huge damper got put on things before you even got the chance to move in.
Right? Look, that's what I messaged you to talk about, actually. Turns out I had a little unforeseen stroke of luck. The price of land in the area shot up recently, so luckily I was able to sell it for pretty much the same price as I bought it for.
Wow, really? That's great.
I got my compensation, or rather my inconvenience money from a unwelcome guest. So once my placement in New York is over, I'm gonna find something even better.
I see. I'm so relieved you didn't suffer any losses as a result of this whole thing.
No kidding. Look, it's gonna be a fresh start for you too, right sis? I'm so excited to see how things turn out for you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Alright, well, I'll catch you later. Hey, tell you what, how about we hang out together at your new place once things calm down for me at work? I can't promise when that'll be, but let's make it happen.
That sounds great. Let's do it. See you later. Tina and James got taken away in the back of a cop car after my last message. Then, they were taken to Tina's uncle's place out in the countryside after calling him from the police station in a desperate panic. Needless to say, he wasn't pleased about having to drive 6 hours to bail his niece out of a jail cell. Apparently, James lied to his mom about having just bought a new house. Between that and the whole issue with the mistaking of $700 for $7,000, relations between mother and son disintegrated, and they began fighting every single day. Their uncle, who they were now living with, was already furious about having them to bail them out and put up at his house. A former kickboxer, he roundhouse kicked James across the room in a rage before ordering the two of them to find jobs ASAP on threat of being kicked out and made homeless. With the disappearance of the terrible two from my life, peace and harmony was restored to my existence. Not only that, but the company I've been working for offered me a proper long-term contract, replete with tons of added employment benefits. Which meant I was able to kickstart my new life from a place of safety and security. Woohoo! And by the way, my ex-mother-in-law showed up and kicked the front door down on my brother's old house one day. 3 months after he sold it. Needless to say, she was charged a hefty sum in damages by the landlord and taken away in the back of a cop car. Again.